7 Little Goats. This is the story of the wolf and the 7 little goats. Once upon a time, there were 7 little goats who lived with their mother at the forest. Near that place, there was also a mean wolf. One day, their mother went out to look for food, and she left the 7 little goats at home alone. When the wolf realized that the little goats were alone, he went running to the house, knocked at the door, knock, 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 and said, "Let me in, little goats. Mama is back and she brought food." The little goats peeked from beneath the door, and when they saw the wolf's paws, they realized that it wasn't their mother. Then the little goats replied, "No, we won't open the door because you are a mean wolf who's gonna eat us." The wolf got angry and began to think how he could get inside the little goat's house. So he decided to cover their paws with flour so they would look as white as the goat's legs. Then he came back, knocked at the door, knock, 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 and said, "Little goats, let me in. Mama is back and she brought food." The little goats peeked from beneath the door and saw that who knocked had white legs, so they opened the door thinking that her mother had come back. Then the wolf chased the little goats. He ate all the goats that he could find and ran into the woods. But the smallest goat of all of them managed to hide behind the clock, and he was safe. When Mama Goat came back, the little goats ran off their hiding place to tell her how the wolf had eaten all of his little brothers. Mama got very angry. She took a pair of scissors and went with the little goat to look for the wolf. On the forest, there was a lake, and they found the wolf there, sleeping without suspecting anything. Then the goat approached silently, and carefully she opened his belly with the scissors and freed all of the little goats. After that, she put a lot of rocks inside the wolf's belly and sewed it with a needle and thread. When the wolf woke up, he had a very big belly, a belly filled with nothing but rocks, and he was very thirsty. He got to the lake to drink some water, and there he fell. So Mama Goat returned home with her 7 little goats, and the wolf never ever bothered them again. The end. The Little Mermaid. This is the story of the Little Mermaid. Once upon a time, there was a little mermaid named Ariel who lived at the bottom of the sea. She was the daughter of the mighty Triton, king of the sea. She felt a lot of curiosity for the human world. With her fish friends Flounder, Ariel collected human things. On the other hand, King Triton didn't like the idea of Ariel going to the surface. That's why his helper Sebastian Crab was always paying lots of attention to where Ariel was going. One night, Ariel, Flounder, and Sebastian went up to the surface of the sea and watched a celebration in honor of Prince Eric's birthday. Just by seeing him, Ariel fell in love. Suddenly, a storm hit and the ship sank. Ariel managed to save Eric, who was unconscious. After taking him to land, the Little Mermaid sang a beautiful song, but leaves before he wakes. When he recovers, he is fascinated by the Little Mermaid's voice. He tries to look for her, but in vain. Ariel went back to the ocean now, more convinced than ever of wanting to go with the humans. Her father, Triton, was very mad and forbade her to return to the surface. But the Little Mermaid went to visit Ursula, the Witch of the Sea. She told Ariel that she could turn her human and proposed her a deal, turning her human for 3 days in exchange for her voice. Ariel agreed, and she was turned into a human being. Ariel needed the next 3 days to get true love's kiss from Eric. Otherwise, she will spend all her life to live in Ursula's cave. Eric finally found Ariel on a beach, and he took her to his castle without knowing she was the one who rescued him when the ship sank. Ariel spent beautiful days alongside Eric. They almost kissed, but Ursula meddled to avoid it. The witch decided to disguise herself as a human under the name of Vanessa, who, besides using Ariel's voice, put a spell on the prince so he would fall in love with her. Next morning, Ariel found out that Eric and Vanessa were about to get married. But thanks to Scuttle the seagull, Ariel found out that Eric was being played by Ursula. The Little Mermaid got to the wedding place inside a barrel. Meanwhile, Sebastian told Triton about what's happening, while Scuttle interrupts the wedding with his sea friends. In the middle of all the chaos, Ursula lost Ariel's voice, which was inside a necklace in her chest, but Ariel manages to recover it. Thus, the spell under Ursula had cast over the prince was broken. Eric kissed Ariel in a heartbeat, but this wasn't fast enough, and Ariel went back to being a mermaid. And also Ursula, the witch, kidnapped the Little Mermaid and took her to her cave. Triton demanded the witch give her daughter back, but the only possible arrangement was that the king take Ariel's place in the cave. The king Triton accepted the deal. Her daughter Ariel was freed. The king was transformed into a tiny monster. On that moment, Eric arrived, hurting Ursula in order to protect Ariel. Furious, the witch turned into a giant monster, getting bigger and bigger. Ursula created a giant storm with a huge whirlpool. With it, she tried to kill Eric and Ariel. In the end, Eric managed to fatally hurt Ursula with his ship. Ursula dies and starts letting out some kind of smoke, with which King Triton and some others return to their normal selves. Triton, again the king of the sea, was convinced of the love of Eric and Ariel. Ariel came out of the sea, turned into a human being, and goes towards Eric. Thanks to her father, they got married on board of a boat in front of all their sea friends and her dear father.